Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We're having a look at another Pages of History. This is going to be coming in September, so in a few days. So if you're interested in the last Pages of History in the profile picture, make sure to get it done before the end of the month, or at least purchase it. This time in September, we have Rosa Shanina, and Rosa Shanina was a student and also a kindergarten teacher in Arkhangelsk who enlisted as a volunteer. She graduated from sniper school with excellence and participated in battles from April of 1944. And for her valor and great results, she was awarded the Order of Glory 3rd Class. After just 2 weeks of fighting, she became the first servicewoman of the 3rd Belarusian Front to receive it. She participated in battles under Vitebsk and Vilnius, and in early September of 1944, hunted down German snipers on the East Prussia border. By that time, her kill count was over 50, and on the 16th of September 1944, she was awarded the Order of Glory 2nd Class. So, did pretty good for herself, and also, it's a pretty nice profile picture. Generally, it looks pretty good, and I'm so happy that they're continuing to do the Pages of History. They work really well alongside doing standard dailies and specials, and then also means that you can play a bunch of different things. I just wish that there was a little bit more variety in them, and I think slowly that's happening, but it is quite gradual as we go along. Hopefully with the changes to research and overall RP changes, that'll basically mean that stuff like this will be a little bit easier to do, because, it'll be easier to get access to higher tier vehicles. So you have the standard trophy you get every time you complete a Page of History challenge, and then after that, you'll also get, of course, if you get the 8 of them in the month, you get the profile picture itself. So the first one is from the 1st of September to the 4th. It's the Bryansk operation. After the victory of the Battle of Kursk, the Soviet forces intended to keep advancing on Bryansk. So therefore, it is good old Germany versus USSR 1944. So make sure to have your T-34s and your Tigers and Panthers ready. Then from the 4th to the 8th, you got the Berlin Victory Parade. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to actually put into this one. The last time that they did this one, they only put in one nation's vehicles, but technically this parade had USSR, USA, UK, and also France. And it was the first time the IS-3 was seen, which, eventually led to people trying to make counters to it, such as the British with the good old charioteer, and not exactly being a successful one. Then, from the 8th of September to the 11th September, you had the Battle of Asal-Uttar, and this is from 1965. It's from the Second Indo-Pakistani War, and there has been a lot of Pakistan and also Indian vehicles going into the game. Makes sense, since there's a large population over there, and especially with the mobile game stuff coming out, mobile gaming is huge in the region, so maybe they're just trying to promote it in that way. But yeah, we'll have to see what goes in there, what vehicles are available. Then from the 12th to 15th, you got 1944 again. It's the Baltic Operation, USSR versus Germany. Then from the 16th to the 19th, 1944. Once again, it's the Battle of Arakourt, which is the Western Front. So the Americans, British, and French versus of course, Germans in France. So that'll be interesting to see what's there. Then from the 20th to the 23rd, you've got the landing at Grigorevka. This is actually when the USSR Navy had their first sea landing in the Black Sea. So it'll be interesting to see what vehicles are in this. I'm guessing naval vehicles on this one, and it's from 1941, so early war naval vehicles. And then 23rd of September to 26th, you got the Tuapse defensive operation. So this is in 1942, when Germany obviously conducted Operation Barbarossa, and this is going through that. So 1942, Germany versus USSR again, and then the last one, the 27th of September to the 30th, it actually says 30 ST, which is quite funny, but yeah, it's obviously supposed to be 30th. This is Operation Samen ol Ayeme, and basically, in 1981, the Iranian armed forces executed Operation Saman al-Ayema, which is the 8th Imam, aiming to lift the siege of Abadan. A diversion made the Iraqi believe that the enemy was marching on Basra. Then the Iranian Air Force utilized its air superiority to strike the Iraqi ground troops, and finally the Iranian army led on attack from 3 sides. The losses were mostly equal, but the Iraqi forces left behind hundreds of trophy vehicles as they retreated. So it does look like we are getting a lot of representation of different nations, which is cool. There was also some data mines over the last few days, and these data mines were basically talking about the events that were going on. Obviously, the Bish coming back, and then you have the For Dobrynya event, which we've talked about. And then also, at the same time, there was a few other things that have been going on, such as the PZSPWG P204F KWK, which is the new vehicle. This one, there was a plate that didn't seem to actually exist, but it's supposed to be in the front of the hull, so now it's 7mm, so my guess is they kind of missed it. Also, the crew on it now can take napalm damage, and also the collision box is more detailed, so it actually makes more sense. What is also interesting, and it says here in the datamine that it seems that they are hiding the trophies for the promo event for War Thunder Mobile. So this update will probably be pushed tomorrow, which is the 29th of August, and this would coincide with the end of the free vehicle event on the mobile game. So it might not, maybe because there wasn't a time limit on the vehicles themselves, or there didn't seem to be, but the main point here is make sure that you have got your free vehicles through War Thunder Mobile, if you're available by tomorrow, to make sure that you keep them. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is you might not be able to get them in the future, and that absolutely sucks. Because having a extra Akizuki, basically, and also an M4 is super important. And at the same time, it's something that you don't want to miss out on. It's always good to get extra vehicles for lineups, even if those vehicles are a little bit, not the best, but definitely worth it because, well, they're free. Simple as. I thought also in this video I'd put in a little thing about auto repair. So obviously the economic changes when it comes to War Thunder have affected how different parts of the game work. And for the longest time, I've always advised people to turn off auto repair, especially over the years, because of the fact that you actually make SL from it. And nowadays, that isn't always necessarily the case. Basically, it now depends on a bunch of factors. First of all, if you don't have premium account, it is always better to have auto repair off. So if that part hasn't changed, that will stay the same. So if you are a free-to-play player or don't have premium, make sure to turn off your auto repair. But if you are a premium player, they added in a new system now, where basically if you, as a individual, don't make enough SL in a battle to cover your repairs, then technically it is cancelled out. So instead you just make 0 SL instead of negative SL, which is what would have happened before. So because of this system and because of how it works, premium accounts can actually make it easier to be able to gain more SL than before. And because of it, over this event, which, we're going to make kind of a recap video over the next little bit, I've been able to gain about 12 million SL over, a 20-day period, while, just grinding stuff, spading things, spading a bunch of different ships. Actually ended up researching and spading 4 of them, I believe, over the event of rank 4 Blue Water. Also spaded the Type 16P and many other machines when it came to aviation. So what it did was it meant that those battles where you just get creamed at the start of them and nothing happens, well, guess what? You don't have to pay the repair. So all of the battles where you don't do well and aren't able to, capitalize, you don't get punished for it anymore. And since they're also going to be adding in that progressive repair setup, which should be coming in pretty soon, then that means that you will lose even less SL, even if you go positive. So my advice now is, if you don't have premium time, have auto repair turned off. But if you do have premium time, keep it on, because everybody has those matches where you just get blasted out at the start of them, especially if you are spading vehicles. And, if you are at a point where you're at the higher echelons, if you've got the Heat FS stock grind, or if you've got anything like that, then you are going to have those matches where you're just going to get creamed. And you're going to shoot somebody, it's not going to do anything, they're going to stare at you, and you're going to die. And since, the repair costs, even though they've gone down at higher echelons, they're still pretty high over, compared to other ones. Why not just capitalize on it? Why not end up just kind of pushing it through? So when I look at this, the main thing is just make sure to get your auto repair on if you have premium time, so you can gain the bonuses of it. And this shift in how the economy works is kind of nuts, and it took me a little bit of time to work out whether it was worth it, whether it was not. It still kind of depends on playstyle. If you're a person who the vast majority of the time you do make positive SL, you don't want, to have auto repair on, but I still think it's actually better to have it on with premium, just because of the fact that if you're going into like a new vehicle or you're going into a new playstyle, you might get heavily affected by how all that works. But that's my general thoughts. I think over the next period we'll make more of a kind of look into the stats of it and how it all works. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Juan the Panda, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, Bareen, Peter Grayling, Alan Hacker, Sem Alslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R., and also Lafouche for supporting the channel.